Today we are going to discuss about lunar mansions and zodiacal constellations. As we know, moon takes 27 days and about 8 hours to go around earth. This is not same as one lunar month, but this is the what we call as the actual revolution period or sidereal period of moon around earth. Most of the ancient civilizations realize this, that if you see the path of moon around the sky, after about 27 days and few hours, it comes back to nearly same position on the background of stars. So they divided the path of moon in roughly 27 zones, sometimes 28, but mostly 27, and each zone called as a house of moon or lunar mansion. In India, for example, we had these 27 zones called Nakshatras. Now, how these are chosen? We have to use some simple criteria. A, the purpose of this is to identify where the moon is going to be. So, they should be reasonably close to moon's path, and B, they should be easily identifiable for many people. There should not be any ambiguity, so some of them should be at least bright stars, or they should form very easily identifiable shape and so on. In India, we called them Nakshatra, but they were also there in other cultures. Nakshatras have been used in India since Vedic times. We see actually a list of Nakshatras mentioned in Vedas. But they are not unique to India. Nakshatras are also mentioned, not Nakshatras, lunar mansions are also mentioned in Chinese civilization and various aboriginal tribes in different continents. It is fairly simple observation that moon takes 27 days to go around sky. So it is natural that many cultures came out with these 27 houses of moon. Now, since each of these groups developed these houses of moon independently, the stars in these houses of moon may or may not be same, but number is always 27. In Indian context, these nakshatras, if you list out the names, some of these names you would have heard at your home, and many of these names actually are used as names of people, names of girls in India. Their list goes like Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mruga, Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya, Ashlesha, and so on. Now, apart from realizing that these names are used as names of people, you will notice something else. If you look at this map of the sky, and on this map of sky, the purple line is line of equator, celestial equator, and the mustard colored line is line approximate path of moon. Now, if you ask where these nakshatras are, these are the positions of these 27 nakshatras. Starting from Ashwini here, the number 1, and then going to Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrugashirsha is number 5, and then go ahead. Number 10 is Magha, number 15 is Swati, number 20 is Purvashadha, and so on. Last 27 is again on the right side of the screen. Presently, our number 1 is not at the crossing of equator and ecliptic, it is slightly ahead. Other thing you will notice about Indian nakshatras is some of these names appear very familiar to people who are used to Indian calendars. Like I have marked some of the nakshatra names in red: Ashwini, Kritika, Mrugashirsha, Pushya, Magha, Falguni, Uttara Falguni, Chitra, Vishakha. You will realize these are very similar to names of Indian months, and that is for a reason. The way our months are defined, we said this are 27 nakshatras, 27 houses of moon. Moon will be close to each nakshatra on different day of month. Now, in a given month, on the full moon day, we check which nakshatra is closest to moon, and that is the name of that month. So, if I say right now the month going on is Margashirsh, then on full moon day in Margashirsh month, you expect moon to be closest to Mrugashirsha nakshatra. This is about houses of moon. But this is not the only system ancient people developed. There were others who didn't care about motion of moon. They more focused on the path of sun in the sky, which is very similar, but the difference is moon goes around the entire sky in 1 month, sun takes 1 whole year. That same path, almost same path, but sun takes 1 full year. So the motion is much slower. One day to next day, you will not even notice that sun's position has changed. You will see a difference after a few days, 15 days, few weeks. So what people came up with, they just coordinated that in 1 month, that is 1 cycle of moon's phases, what happens to the position of sun. So for every lunar month, we define a group of stars, and that will be called a zodiacal constellation, that is the position of the sun. The idea is very similar, but instead of moon we are using sun. Now here we see something interesting. These zodiacal constellations, we see exactly same stars and same figures in all cultures, be it the Babylonian culture or Egyptian or then Greek, Romans, Indians. Everywhere the shapes are exactly same and the stars identified with these zodiacal constellations are exactly the same. In India we call them Rashi. So earliest we see they were used in Babylon, then Greeks started using it, and as far as our evidence we have discovered so far goes, Indians started using these Rashis only after Alexander's invasion on India. That is, so most likely Greeks got this idea of Rashis to India. Anything which is written before the Greek invasion, we don't see any evidence of Rashis being used. These are the 12 Rashis or zodiacal constellations: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and so on. And I have also mentioned their Indian names, and you can see the similarity. Taurus means bull in Latin, and Vrishabha means again bull in Sanskrit. Virgo means a young lady in Latin, Kanya, a young lady in Sanskrit, and so on. All 12 have exactly same meaning. Now, how these zodiacal constellations are used by the ancient observers? They did not know at that time that Earth is going around Sun. What they saw, that Sun is seen in front of different zodiacal constellations. What we mean by that is, now we know Earth is going around the Sun. In January, the Earth is here, and behind the Sun we see the zodiacal constellation of Sagittarius. After a few months, in May, the Earth is here, and behind the Sun is a zodiacal constellation of Aries. Another few months, in September, Earth is here, and behind Sun we see Leo, and we say that Sun is seen in that zodiacal constellation, or Sun is in that zodiacal constellation. Now, when I see that Sun is seen in that zodiacal constellation, Sun is very bright. So when you actually, Sun is in front of a zodiacal constellation, we actually don't see that constellation. How we decide Sun is in the constellation of Aries? Just after the sunset, when Sun goes below horizon, we will see the next constellation on the western horizon. For example, in June, in the evening, when the sun just sets, we see Gemini is going to set next, which would mean that Sun is somewhere in Taurus, which set with Sun, and now we are seeing Gemini. Similarly, suppose in August evening, after the sun sets, we see Leo is going to set next. So we conclude that Sun was in Cancer, which set with the Sun, and now Leo is going to set next. That is how people decided in which zodiacal constellation Sun was in. we saw this plot where the positions of nakshatras, Indian nakshatras are marked, and on the same plot I am going to show you where the zodiacal constellations or rashis are. These are these 12 rashis, the 12th one, the Pisces, one part is here and then the last part is here, it is broken like that, but otherwise starting from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. Now why I am doing this? Here you can see that since Sun and Moon approximately go around the same path, obviously for the some bright asterism or bright groups of stars, they are parts of both nakshatra groups and zodiacal constellations. But the overlap is not 100%. For example, if you see constellation of Capricorn, there is no nakshatra in this constellation. Or if you see nakshatras like Hasta, that is Corvus, or let us say Swati or Mrigashirshak, and many such examples, they are not part of any zodiacal signs. So clearly there is a evidence by looking at this graph that both these things, nakshatras and rashis, are not made by the same group of people. There are two different groups which came up with these two different ideas, and while designing them they did not talk to each other. Later on we started using both. This is what you should remember when you look at nakshatras and rashis next time. Thank you.